Hey, this is a video for 8.7, Persistent Organic Pollutants. So go ahead and check out the overview and set up your guided notes. So, when something is organic, remember that it is carbon-based, it has carbon and hydrogen, and for something to be persistent, it needs to stay around for a long time. And these pollutants are persistent because they are fat-soluble. If they were water-soluble, they might come out in a couple of days, but because they are fat soluble, they're staying in the tissues of these organisms for a long time. These are persistent also because they can travel long distances, easily from wind and water, but also through the fat tissues and through migratory animals like birds, fish, and marine mammals. Examples are DDT, PCBs, BPA, and dioxins. First one, DDT. Look it, this is a structure. Don't draw it. My head's probably blocking it. Can you see it now? Okay. Don't draw it. But DDT is a great insecticide. It was wonderful. It targeted the nervous system of insects and it easily killed them. It was really common in the 1950s. It killed a lot of mosquitoes. Malaria was a huge problem. And malaria is still a problem, but malaria, this was a great method to get rid of the mosquitoes that were spreading the malaria. Problem is it's fat soluble and it bioaccumulated in the bald eagles. This is because it sank down to the benthic areas. It accumulated in benthic areas and then it would be taken up by microorganisms and it became part of the food chain. And when it became part of the food chain, it ended up in the bald eagles because they were eating the fish that were in the aquatic ecosystem, and their eggs were becoming really, really soft and brittle, and they would easily crack. So the bald eagle population was nearly wiped out, 50 years ago. Pharmaceuticals are a major problem. Most notably prescription drugs like antibiotics, reproductive hormones, steroids. They've been dumped down the drains because people want to get rid of them. So we find them in nearly all of our waterways. Now, it's one thing, if you have antibiotics, you should take your antibiotics for the entire prescribed dosage because you want to make sure you get rid of the bacteria or the illness that you have. But when it comes to something like a painkiller, an opioid, a lot of times people are dumping them down the drain because they just want to get rid of them. It would be much better to bring them, the best way is to bring them back to your pharmacist. But really dumping them down the drain is a really bad option because it is an endocrine disruptor. And that can contaminate our aquifers. If it gets in there, it can contaminate the aquifers and lead to reproductive disorders, for example. Another POP is dioxins. This is the formula. Don't have to draw it. Dioxins come from making pesticides, burning medical waste, automobile emissions, and also coal and biomass combustion. So really they're released during the burning of materials. Dioxins are found in the Newtown Creek from the years and years of industry that happened along its shorelines. It is an endocrine disruptor as well. It can cause immune system damage in humans. PCBs. Here's the structure. PCBs come from heat exchange fluid, from paint and plastic additives. It can impact the fish by causing failure in spawning. Remember, it's also an endocrine disruptor, so I imagine it is affecting the hormones that are the reproductive hormones as well. And for humans, we can have reproductive failures, but most notably, the big one is cancer. You hear about PCBs a lot. There are PCBs in the Newtown Creek. I keep looking that way because that's the direction it is from where I'm standing. It's not far. But all of North Brooklyn is really contaminated from this, from the industry that's been happening here for the last 50 years, 100 years even. This is just some of the persistent organic pollutants, but these are the ones that will show up on assessments. What I would like you to do is now respond to this check for understanding. And for FRQ practice, I want you to explain why consuming fish from industrial waterways is discouraged. I hope that this video is informative. I thank you for your attention. I will see you soon.